So my dude, Saiyan Salamander here, and welcome to the latest edition of Outrealm Heroes. For those of you that are new to the channel, or just new to the series, I take characters from different games, manga, movies, etc. and theorycraft what they'd be like as playable units in the mobile game Fire Emblem Heroes. This time I tackle Marvel's Avengers, and theorycraft the original 6 heroes from the Avengers Assemble movie. These were by far the hardest heroes to create so far, since half of them don't have weapons that easily transfer over into Fae. But thankfully I made a weapon theory crafting video and designed some new weapons that could appear in Fae, and I was able to use those weapons I created as weapon types for these heroes. I'll only be going over how the weapons used in this video work out, so go watch my Fire Emblem Heroes weapon theory crafting video that'll be linked in the description below for a more in-depth review. For now, let's dive right into the first character I'll be theory crafting, the futurist Iron Man. So Iron Man was by far the most challenging hero to create for this video. Like, how do I make him make sense in this game? He wears a suit of armor, so it would make sense for him to be an armored unit. But then he can fly too, so it would make sense for him to be a flyer too. And he mainly uses rockets, energy blasts, and other weapons, but none that are already in use in Fae. If I had to use weapon types that were already in Fae, then I probably would have had him to use a tome. But that wouldn't really make sense for him. So I decided to make him a flying red gunslinger, which is a new weapon type that I'd really like to see added one day. Honestly, I'm surprised we haven't gotten it yet, since in this book, with the way the world is designed, it makes perfect sense. Red gunslingers either have an inbuilt Desperation effect, or an inbuilt Hardy Bearing effect, so I decided to give him a Hardy Bearing effect so he could prevent the foe's advantage or Desperation effects. Iron Man's weapon is called the Repulsor Gauntlets. As well as the inbuilt Red Gunslinger effect, he gets an accelerated special cooldown, and has the unique effect of being treated as an armored unit instead of a flying unit. Since dual movement type isn't really a thing in Fae, I thought this was the best way to go about it. So even though he has flyer movement, he's weak to everything an armor unit is, instead of weak to everything that a flyer unit would be. Finally, he gets Special Fighter. I was originally going to give him Daring Fighter since I thought the skill would have suited him a little bit more, but then I remembered Hardy Bearing would cancel out the skill. I just wanted to give him a cool armor exclusive skill in his weapon since he's supposed to be like an armored flying unit. Aside from his res, which he has a Super Bane in, his stats are all pretty good, and he has a Super Boon as attack, speed, and defense. So unless you get plus res or plus HP Iron Man, you'll be sorted with any of the boons you get. Next up is another character that I had to homebrew a bit and make a new class for them, and that character is the first Avenger himself, Captain America. Cap's another unit on this list that required a little bit of homebrewing in order to make them work. While shields do exist as equipable items in the mainline Fire Emblem games, they're not in Heroes since they're not an equipable weapon. Thankfully, in my weapon theory crafting video I made for Fae a few months ago, I did actually come up with an idea for how shields would work in Fae. It's just in case I wanted to talk about a character like Captain America in the future. Cap's a blue shield wielder in Fae, so thanks to his Vibranium shield, it gives him 30% damage reduction for foes' attacks. Just like Flame's Caduceus staff, except it only works on himself. He also gets plus 3 speed built into his weapon, as well as a Saviour skill, which is something that usually an infantry unit like himself wouldn't be able to learn. I'm thinking near save attack speed would be the best one for him to use, so let's go with that in his weapon. For his skills, he comes with Shield Valor at 4-star rarity, so he can inspire his fellow shield wielders to gain some more SP in battle, in order for them to learn some new skills. At 5-star rarity, I gave him Bracing Stance too, since it combos really well with his Saviour skill and his weapon. I thought it would be a good reference for Cap to have a Super Boon in every one of his stats, thanks to the Super Serum, and maybe have a Super Bane and everything to reference how weak he was before the Serum. Thankfully, as the 4-star demote unit of this banner, he isn't too hard to merge, so you'll be able to fix whatever Bane he gets in no time at all. Going from the 4-star demoted hero to the new mythic hero of the banner, we have the God of Thunder himself, Thor, who appears in Fae as a flying axe-alike mythic hero. Funnily enough, there's already 2 characters in Fae that reference the God of Thunder. We've got Thor, who's Fae's equivalent of the character, and we have Ishtar, who wields a tome named Mjolnir, which references Thor's hammer. So I decided to give him Stormbreaker instead of Mjolnir, which actually makes him way more of a monster than Mjolnir ever could have. First off, it boosts his speed by plus 3. Then, just like Halloween Nowie, Thor can teleport within 2 spaces of any ally that's within 2 spaces. It's an amazing effect that references how Stormbreaker can control the Bifrost. I don't think that's quite enough for a modern day standards for a mythic unit though, so he also gains plus 1 special cooldown per unit or foe's attacks, and this works when he has 25% HP or more, or he's buffed by some kind of bonus. His base kit is insane, as it should be for a legendary or mythic hero. He comes with Ruptured Sky, since I thought it was a fitting skill for the Thunder Guard, Dive Bomb 3, and finally a new skill, Speed Res Menace. Of course, as a mythic unit, Thor also gets an exclusive skill, which really helps him stand out from the rest of the cast. It's an A-slot skill called Thunder Guard, and it allows Thor to counterattack regardless of the foe's range. And if he has health equal or above 25%, or he's buffed by a bonus, then he can attack from 2 spaces away if he wants. It makes him an insane unit, as he can teleport around the map or having the attack range of a melee or ranged unit, giving him an enormous attack range, and it's defo a must-have unit for any team. He's got a super boon in attack and speed, but he's also got a super bane in both too. So if you get bane in one or the other, you might want to try get a merge so you can fix that. And if you do, you won't regret adding this unit to your team. The final unit on the banner would probably be one of the strongest characters in the game in terms of raw attack power, and his title really hits it home with the level of power he's at. The next character I'm talking about is the World Breaker, the Incredible Hulk. Hulk was definitely the easiest character on this list to incorporate into Fae. I made him a green beast unit since, you know, he's a green beast, it kind of makes sense. I made him armoured too, since while he doesn't really wear any armour, he is pretty heavy, so I think the movement type suits him well. Aside from the conditional distant counter effect that Hulk gets from being an armoured beast unit, he also gets +3 extra attack. And as long as Hulk is on his own, or he's below 100% HP, he gains +6 attack and defense, and can move an additional space too, just like Armored Stride or Armored March. As for his skills, they really suit his character well, and synergizes with his weapon. He's got Vengeance, Fury 3, Wrath 4, and finally Attack Defense Menace to wrap things up. Unless we just got Wrath 4 in the new Summer banner, then it's not a skill that exists in Fae yet, so here's what my interpretation of the skill would be. If a unit's HP is below 100%, then the special cooldown decreases at -2 at start of a turn, as long as the special triggers by attacking. If special triggers, +10 damage from special. It's a fantastic upgrade if I do say so myself, and really solidifies it back as a top tier skill, as I feel like with some of the newer B-slot skills, it kinda took a little bit of a backseat. The Hulk is a literal monster in everything besides his speed stat. And he's got a super boon in attack, defense, and resistance. But he also comes with super banes in speed and HP, which doesn't really matter much for minus speed, but you may want to try get an extra merge to fix a minus HP Hulk. Like always, even though that's all for the banner, I always add a new free unit into the mix too. And since I was only one space shy of filling the main roster of heroes in Avengers Assemble, I figured why not add an extra hero who you can recruit at 5-star rarity by completing some quests. Considering her new movie, I can't not add her in this time around. I probably could have gave her those taser pole weapons that she has and made her an infantry lance unit, but I'd already finished theory crafting her as an infantry brawler, so I figured I'd just commit to what I'd already designed. Her weapons are called Widow's Art, and it's like a dual phase ninja weapon, since she gets the inbuilt player phase brave weapon effect thanks to being a brawler unit, and for her weapon effect, I gave her an enemy phase ninja weapon. So she ends up having a dual phase ninja weapon, which is really good. She also deals damage with up to 20% of her speed, and with how high that stat is, she's going to do a lot of extra damage she'll be dishing out. Having a ninja weapon, her defenses aren't really the best, but they could be worse. They both average out, and with a little bit of investment, she's not that frail. She has a good amount of attack and a hell of a lot of speed. She's even got a super boon in both stats. She does have a super bane in the rest of her stats though. But that's really not a problem, since if you beat enough of her quests released alongside the banner, you'll get 2 5-star copies of her anyway. She comes equipped with Pivot as her assist skill, Vantage at 5-star rarity, and Threat and Attack Speed 2 at 4-star rarity, which is really nice when you want to fodder off someone for attack speed menace, since it means you don't have to fodder as many skills off and when you have to give the skill to someone. And if they have any other premium skills, you can give it to your favourite unit alongside attack speed menace. Overall, she's a really great fast offensive unit, and I think all she really needs is distant counter to make herself a monster of a unit, being able to quad attack and smacking at the foe twice before they can even land a hit. Finally, while I could forget about him to be honest, I didn't want to single him out. Thankfully, he was another easy unit to implement into this game, and that character is the Hawkeye. In Fae, I made him a red bow infantry unit, mainly because we don't really have any of them that aren't 5-star locked. So I think it'd be nice to give out a free one so it's a unit type everyone has easy access to. Since Hawkeye doesn't have a special name for his weapon or anything, I decided to name it myself, and call it the Avenging Hawk. It deals plus 10 damage when it special triggers, and allows him to counterattack regardless of a foe's range too. For his skills, he comes with Vengeance, which I thought would be fitting in order to reference his Ronin appearance, Desperation at 5-star rarity, and Rouse Attack Speed at 4-star rarity. The Rouse skills, while still good, aren't really as other new skills that have been released in my opinion, so I figured I'd drop it down to a 4-star skill. Hawkeye's got a fairly decent stat spread, and while he excels in speed, he doesn't really have any stats that's terrible in any way, reaching over 13 as defensive stats with max merges, and surpasses 60 attack with enough merges too. Overall, he's a great free-to-play archer, and even keeps up or surpasses the other red archers that came before him. He might need a little bit more investment though, since he doesn't have any premium skills, but with a solid preferred weapon and great stat spread, he's definitely an archer to watch out for. That's all for this edition of Outrealm Heroes, so I hope you enjoyed, my dudes. If you did, please leave a like, comment on who you would summon for this banner, and which series you'd like me to cover in the future. I also have a Discord server and a Twitch channel linked in the description below, so if you want to hang out more with the community, or watch live playthroughs of games like Kingdom Hearts, Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, and more, then please go check them out. Also, huge thanks to Jarrett for editing this video again. He's got some really cool projects in the works, so please go check him out on Twitter and on YouTube as well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, my dudes. Until next time, bye.